after I launched my first Steam game, 11's Up, I had a lot of fun with that. I have another game that's waiting to be released. I need to put up the store pages for it, but this game requires a lot of rework because it's currently in portrait. So I need to make it landscape so it fits computer displays better. And I also want to take that time to redo a lot of the graphics and kind of update it a bit. That's my game, Wordy Critters. If you haven't played it, check it out on mobile. Real fun game if you love old games like Bookworm. And then I have this other game that's been knocking around in my brain for years. Not the old mobile game, the handheld game that I'm going to port. That's coming soon, but I'm currently trying to get a lot of equipment so I could show the original a bit better. Um, I have this other game and I've been on and off with it for years. So I finally decided I'm going to sit down and dedicate time to it. Many years ago, when I was just a game developer for hire, I started my own personal thing called Project 168. And the idea was in 168 hours, which is 1 week, I would make a game. And the first game I did this ages ago, I think was Word Jumble Blitz. That game is still out. Needs some updates, but it's still out there doing its thing. It's similar to kind of like a Boggle game. It even had multiplayer at the time, and this was long time ago. And then I had Beat Blocks, and that game was fun. That was built in Cocos, as most of my early games were. This game was a rhythm based, time based game where you basically almost like a Simon Says, but with like kind of drum beats and stuff. That was super fun. I made it super low res. Everything I think is grayscale. I really wanted this idea of like a tiny game that you could pick up and play. Only made so many levels for it. It didn't really do much. Just people do still download it and play it, but that was a fun little game. So, anyways, I had this idea of making these short games. So I had this game bouncing around my head for years, and I've started it so many times, but I've never really dedicated the time to finish it. So I've decided to start it again, pick up, and just jump in and dedicate the 168 hours to it. And I'm going to see how far I get and then decide what to do with it at the end. To help speed things up anytime I kind of get stuck, well, there's great tools like AI that can help kind of solve the coding problems for me to keep me going. I'm going to be, writing and designing all this myself, but that kind of, instead of jumping to Stack Overflow or reading documentation, it's kind of like, hey, how can I implement this? One good example was my initial, this is a twin stick game, is just getting that initial controlling down. And once I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. As long as it's written in a coding style that I understand. And I trained it on my own code. I gave it all my projects and said, this is how I write code. This is what I want. And here we go. I love couch co-op games. Always have. Those are my favorite type of games. Either standing next to somebody at an arcade machine in the 90s or sitting down on my couch in the thousands and playing with somebody sitting next to me. I have a teenage son, and him and I, our favorite game is sitting down and playing some Earth Defense Force. We just love that couch co-op experience. He plays other games by himself, as do I, but it's really that togetherness I love and I miss in modern gaming. I'm not an online gamer at all. It's if I'm playing with other people, I want those people in the room. So I loved those games, especially from the 90s. And the game that inspired what I'm doing now is Smash TV and its sequel, Ultimate Carnage. But Smash TV in particular, because it had that humor, it had that joke, that Running Man esque-ness to it. Um, so I've always wanted to make something spiritually in that vein, one in that gameplay style, but also that humor. So that's what I was looking at doing. But over the years, I've really fallen in love with roguelikes. Those are my favorite games to play. Hades, Say the Spire, Rogue Book, all types of them. So I'm like, how can I blend those elements together? Because I already had this crazy idea of weird weapons and upgrade mechanisms, which are just totally absurd, but would be funny. So I'm like, how can I work that in? So I brainstormed a bit, and that's where I'm kind of going with this. So this is Project 168, super sloppy gore TV or whatever. I don't know. I don't have a name for it yet. But yeah, here I'll show you a little bit of where I'm at right now. I have almost nothing. I'm only about maybe 4 hours into the coding of it, but I started a new project in Unity. I put up a very basic HUD, and I have the player control and a very basic enemy spawn. Very similar. They just kind of come straight at you. They're not really attacking yet. It's just more if they hit me, that's it. But of course, as we build out, we'll build different enemies, different enemy moves, etc. But let's have a look. So here's my scene. I am the little green triangle. I like to use triangles because you can kind of see which way they're pointing when they move around. And there we go. I'm moving. There's some enemies. The color's pretty bad. They're very dark, but I could shoot, I could point. So I use WASD to move the controller, the mouse then to pick where to shoot. Obviously, on a dual stick, that would map like so. When you're hit too many times, game over. But also, if you kill all the enemies, room clear. I don't really have all that logic built in. What I have is the scaffolding of the basic UI, the start round, end round logic, spawn points, and the shooting mechanics. That's really where I like to start, is make sure you have the core elements of your scene, which are the UI, the characters, and the start and end, and then kind of build from there. Sometimes you could get lost focusing on one mechanic and then go shoot. Now, where am I going to fit this other stuff? So especially the UI HUD, I like to get in early. So yeah, that's what I got so far. That's 4 hours in. Let's see where we go. This series, I hope to do maybe an episode every week and put 4 hours in here and there and just see how we progress it. You know, I'm squeezing this in between my actual job and being a dad and a husband, and, you know, all those things I do. So this may be a little bit slower. Plus, I'm doing all those other games. So yeah, that's all I have so far. It's not a lot, but I think every time I kind of make some achievement or, you know, get a new piece of functionality, I'll do another video so you can come join along, follow this series, and we'll see if we can make this game. I'm curious if by the end of it, and I'll actually give myself 168 clock, so we'll say I've already reduced it by 4 hours, and we'll see how far we get. And if at the end of the 168 it's worth keeping, then we'll keep it. In the past, the 168 included sleeping and all that stuff. It was actually just I had 1 week to deliver. So this is a little bit different. I actually have a bit more time, I think. Anyways, if you like this, like, subscribe, join along for the journey, and we'll see where we go.